2018. It ends in, so it started in 2018 and phase 1 ends is 2024. So it's a 6-year project. So we can say it's a 50-city project. And we have donors in Coca-Cola, HCCB, HCCB of course is Coca-Cola, HDFC Bank, Hindustan Unilever, Coca-Cola India Foundation. We have few donors who are driving the project. So we are a team of 50 people handling say 50 cities roughly. Currently we are operational in 35 cities. So where our entire model is working with ULBs because the waste is handled by ULBs. So the municipal corporations. So where the entire waste is handled by them. So we work with them. We set up material recovery centers, or we call Swachhata Kendra. So we call Swachhata Kendra is basically material recovery centers. In partnership with the local municipalities, we establish a facility either within the municipal dumping ground, if land is available, infra is available by the corporation, or else outside the municipal dumping ground, if space is a constraint or operationally we feel it's difficult. So there we partner with the local NGO, preferably an NGO which is working on ground in that particular area. So for example, I'll take the example of Hyderabad. So if I have to set up a material recovery facility, I'll first go to my municipal corporation, give them a proposal, what we want to do in Hyderabad. Then we have a very formal process, very stringent process of selecting a local NGO partner. So there are several terms and conditions how an NGO partner is onboarded into the project. So then we arrive at a figure, means per year how much processing is possible, how much processing of plastic waste I can do or I want to do. So that is the second step. So we support the partner whom we are onboarding into the project. So we partner with them, we handhold them, they are given the required machineries, the land is allocated by the corporation, physical infra, machinery, salaries, everything is taken care for the entire duration of the project, which is renewable on a yearly basis. So there, for example, this year, the target for Hyderabad, if I take an example, we have a target of say processing around 10,000 metric tons of plastic waste in Hyderabad. So every region, depending on the dynamics of the state or the region, targets are decided. And in this, the main element is a social inclusion of waste pickers. That is the most important thing, because they are the real hands who are making the change. So we are just the mediators. They are the most important people who has to work hands down. So, and most of the time we know they are not a part of the system. They are not a part of the system. For example, they don't have ration cards, they don't have Aadhaar cards, they don't have PAN cards, they don't have, banking. They are not a part of banking systems. So as long as they are away, they will, we as an entire country cannot address the issue of waste management as long as they are not included into the process. If we say, I will make a change, we feel it's difficult. So including them is very, very important. So this year, again, if I take the example of Hyderabad, we are looking at least 2,000 to 4,000 people of waste pickers if we are able to bring them into the mainstreams. So at least if I can open a bank account for them. See, in COVID times, we noticed though the government was offering some kind of support to them, they had no bank accounts to take the money also. So that is the biggest thing. And they are almost, most of the time, they are into a trap of middlemen. Okay, I got a question. Sure, sir, I'll just, okay, definitely, thanks. I'll take this question. So yeah, I was talking about the COVID situation where we couldn't support our own communities who are working for us. So now social inclusion is the biggest part. They don't have a banking system also, and middlemen, they exploit them a lot. They are terribly exploited, middlemen. So what they do is, I'll give you a live example because of my past work also, I worked live with them. So what these middlemen do is, for example, I am a waste picker. Prashant is a waste picker. So his daughter has to get married. So I need say 2 lakh rupees. Who will give me? I'm not a part of the any system where I can approach a bank and take a personal loan because I don't have returns also. So I'll go to my local kabadi wala. So he'll say, okay, I'll give you 2 lakh rupees for your daughter's education, so, or marriage or whatever it is. But for the next 2-3 years, all your plastic waste should be sold to me at 2 or 3 rupees less than the market price. And for this amount also, you have to pay interest to me. So I'm paying a market interest on 2 lakh rupees and I'm bound by this ex kabadi wala, where for the next 2, 3, 4 years, all produce have to be sold to him. And I don't get any money. Means, what do I get? I'm clearing my loans at lower price, at much, much lower price. If I had an Aadhaar card, if I had a bank statement, maybe I would have approached some bank and made some transactions. And one more thing is, these middlemen or the mafia ensures no amount is paid through banking system. They are given by hand. So these are some challenges. So social inclusion is a part of the project. So now I'll take the questions which are there. Okay, so I'll take the first questions of difficulties. Yes, sir, it is little difficult because the problem is very complex, and even at the municipality level, we cannot expect that the person handling, is an expert in plastic waste management. Even the commissioner has so many things to operate, he cannot be expected to have the domain knowledge of everything he's operating. So that is the first important thing. And the team, of course, is much more difficult. And the facilities on ground are not favorable. So for example, I'll tell you, if I'm operating in a very small ULB, it's a very small municipality. So there your high value plastic might be coming, but how do you dispose your high value plastic? So the first option is you transport it to 500 or 1000 kilometers to your nearest city kabadiwala. It's 500 or 1000. So for that, your operation and logistics has to work. You can't be sending 2 kilos every day. You have to store till your truck fills. Only then you can send. Okay, still if you're managing with HD, okay, I'll cut it down, say shampoo bottles or PET bottles or milk packet. These at least have some value. So your challenges are there, but little limited. Just imagine when you come to low value plastic, your kurkures, your shampoo packets, your chips packets. First of all, collecting them is not possible. Even if you collect, how do you dispose it? Assumingly, if you are a corporate, you are the collector or a commissioner of that area, and you notice your area is having so much low value plastics, what do? You cannot incinerate, because incinerating plastic is definitely not an advisable thing. What do? Clueless, absolute clueless. It's a chaos. It's not only in smaller ULBs, even in cities. If you are in Bombay or Hyderabad or Bangalore or Delhi, first of all, low value plastic is impossible to collect because it has no value. I, as a waste speaker, why will I collect? I will only collect shampoo bottles or PET bottles or milk packets because I'm going to get 20 rupees, 15 rupees, 18 rupees, something. What will I do by collecting chips packets? It is of zero value. And there is something called number of bends which we calculate. So if see, for example, I as a waste speaker have 8 hours only to work, or 10 hours or 12 hours. How many bends I will do? If I have to collect a PET bottle, my number of bends are less. If I have to collect a shampoo bottle, imagine my number of bends. Even if you give me 500 rupees per day, I won't bend so many times. But who's paying it? Nobody's paying for low value plastics. So it's a nobody's child. It's a nobody's child, and that is the maximum we have today. That is the maximum we have is low value plastic. Other forms of plastics are collected. So these are the challenges. These are real practical challenges on ground, which even we at the UN systems are facing. We are trying to address this. But yes, even if you're collected, okay, assumingly I'm willing to pay 25 rupees a kilo for your eclairs, your Cadbury, whatever it is, I'm willing to pay. But how do you dispose it? You've collected, okay, then what? Who's going to pay me for disposal? Corporation does not have money. They're already fund stuck because major of the funds anyway goes for waste management activities. How do you dispose it? So that is another challenge we come to. Dispose where? That is the third challenge. Okay, I'll dispose, but I'll dispose where? Okay, fourth point, I have found a disposal location, and that is but 2000 kilometers away from my radius. So what should I do then? Who's going to fund the whole thing? Who will fund this whole activity? So if we start listing out the challenges, yes, we have challenges, but through the UN project today, because we have access, we have network, we have resources, we have the will as a development organization to address. So slowly we are addressing all the challenges what we are facing. So now I'll come to the question of Mr. Sujit. License, okay. So actually working with ULBs is little difficult. So, but my experience is working with smaller corporations has been, if you have a very strong proposal and if you can pitch it to your corporation, local ULBs, and if they feel that you have the required expertise, they will definitely partner with you. They won't say no. But the same dynamic changes if you're in a bigger city. Then yes, you need to have your proper expertise in place. You should have proper plan how you're going to address the waste management issue of the corporation. So, but even NGOs work, so no particular licenses are required. If you're registered as a company or as an NGO as per the government norms, you can start working. No ULB will reject you. So, any other questions, please, or so that we can align the discussion as per the interest of the audience. You can text, so I'll continue. You can just text. So I will just share what our learnings have been. First thing is, it should not be banned. We should find a way to address the situation. So currently, just around on 12th of August or 15th of August, I think it's just 10-12 days, the new gazette, we have seen a new gazette on plastic waste management rules. So just it's been 2 weeks, or if I understand right, or 1 or 2 weeks. You can go through it. In that, the latest norms is, so I'll keep it simple, thickness of the covers which we use have been increased to 120 microns. So the reason is, even if you are throwing, waste pickers will pick it up. Means, see, we cannot ban plastic covers, means it doesn't work out overnight. So best was to increase the thickness of the carry bag, and over a period of next few years, work on a replacement. Overnight replacements cannot be brought in. And replacements also have a cost. If somebody says we can use cotton bags, we can imagine the amount of water required for cotton. So that way we are losing, in terms of water, we are losing that. So if somebody says there are jute and cane, so imagine, because I work in bamboo, cane and jute, it is not available in every region. It has to come from somewhere. Even that involves a carbon footprint of your fuel. So if my neighbor is making a 120 micron bag, why not I take that rather than bringing a bamboo bag from Assam and burning the fuel? So there is a balance. There is a balanced approach we need to have. Definitely, what I say is definitely not right. It's my opinion, but people might always say, no, we should look for alternates. So assumingly now, for example, single-use plastics have been banned. So imagine the number of livelihoods which are going to get affected. It's huge. It's terrifyingly huge. So now, what is the right decision? Banning plastic at the cost of livelihoods, or continuing livelihoods at the cost of environment? So we are 90 people. All of us will have an opinion. I don't think there will be a single opinion here, and all the opinions are right. So I have a question with Dr. Sunita. Definitely, Dr. Sunita, as a part of our current UN project, I'll definitely take you through. Schools are the most important thing for us. Even colleges are secondary. Schools are most important to us. It's just about catching them young. Because of today, we are all littering because at the school level, 30, 40 years, we were not taught. So I think we need a behavioral change. If we start now, maybe after 30, 40 years, we'll see the change. Because now, Swachh Bharat is a word which we all know today. Maybe we can coin something like that around plastic. It might become a buzzword tomorrow. and we see people are responding. So our whole focus is on behavioral campaign, not forcing anything on anyone, because force doesn't work. Sensitizing them through this kind of platforms where we mutually learn something. So I take something from you, and then you take something from me. We implement in our respective regions, and slowly we build a pyramid for the next 30-40 years.
Thank you, sir. We are already doing this, but we want to extend this project at this level where the students and the faculty can also understand that what is the importance of this. See, the creating awareness is important. If you start working from one person itself, then we will find that we are collective with the collaborative teaching learning process. We can do it. We can achieve this target. As you were saying that in West, how we are going to see, we are not going to litter at any place, but in India, the same person, when they are not following this type of instructions, how we can clean our city or our country. Thank you, sir. Yeah, yes, sir.
Definitely, ma'am. So we are always looking for partners, especially on the educational fronts, because you are the people who can bring a change. We can only bring our knowledge, we can bring our experiences, but you are the real people who are going to shape the citizens tomorrow. So nothing better than partnering with educators, because you have the power with us and we have the experience with us. So maybe bringing a marriage of these two and working on the behavioral campaign, explaining children the why to use this, why not to use that. The first thing what we suggest everybody is we don't have to bother about the country. We don't have to bother about rupees. Let's take care of our coins. That yes. is, let's take care of the waste segregation at our home.
Yes.
Let us not complain what city is doing, what corporation is doing, why people are throwing and littering. Let us not work on that. Let us ensure at least the tip of the milk packet we are not cutting. That is more than enough help for the environment. See, we all work with milk packets, we just simply cut it. If we yes. can leave the small piece to the mother body, that is more than enough. So, assumingly we go out to eat, we get that ₹1 small sauce packets and all, even in flights also, we just remove it and throw. That is the most harmful thing, because we can never collect that. These things are more than enough. So, the end, and have a bin at home where we are able to segregate our wet and dry waste, handling the wet waste separately to the collector. When we take a session, everybody says, why should I segregate when my collector is mixing it both in the same bin? That is okay. Let us do our part. Let us not bother what corporation is doing or the guy collecting is. That's his story. That's a separate story which state will take care. So as simple as that, separating it, at least, I remember, my parents, when they were, obviously I come from a middle class, they were financially very weak. So my mother used to ensure all these waste is sold. But today, no, we mix everything together. So these small things, will go along, because all this won't go to the dumping ground now. It will find a proper channel through the system where it can go for recycling. So I'm not coming to recycling now. It's a different subject altogether. We will take up depending on the time. So
thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So I have two questions. Shall we change the packaging of chips or the packets of selling value at least? I have a message from Aruna. See, Aruna, in this, like, the biggest problem is, it is not that there is no solution. There is a solution, because all these multinational companies have the best of brains to develop a packaging. It's not that it's not possible. But there is an effect also. There is an effect also with that. So if I change, so for example, I have this small clip in my hand. So assumingly I'm packing it, I can change the packaging very easily. But imagine the cost escalation, and the market dynamics and the the marketing cost, the competition cost, all these works on 2 paise, 3 paise, 5 paise, 10 paise. If I alone increase the price and my competitor does not increase, I will lose business in the market. So it should be a level playing, means all brand owners making the same product should work on their packaging so that when it's in the supermarket shelf, customer finds that all are of the same price. So because of packaging cost, X is expensive. I as a buyer, I'll go and buy Y, because for me, it doesn't make a difference what is the packaging, because I'm not sensitive towards the environment. For me, only the price matters. So this 50 paise wars, 50 paise 1 rupee wars, which happens. At times, yes, it might not be feasible also to change, because when we are packaging, you mentioned chips. It's a food item. I think I really don't know what kind of because they have a shelf life also, so that requires a lot of R&D. So at least I cannot comment on that. What kind of material should be used to pack food, because I don't have expertise in that. So I will take another. Mr. Pradeep. Yeah, Mr. Pradeep, because your reference has to with bamboo, and I have worked almost 18 years in bamboo. So not only bamboo, there are various packaging alternates available, but it comes at a cost also. Means there is obviously some amount of negative impact to the environment, whatever material. Maybe your base material can be bamboo, but bamboo is available more in Northeast. If I have to ship it to all the way here, I'm burning fuel anyway. So that's what the first discussion. Should I burn fuel or should I use plastic? And so, yeah, it's a very tricky thing. So at least I don't have an answer for such a tricky question. But alternates are being found. Most of you must have seen nowadays. It's going on in social media that these big brands have started coming with removable toothbrush top. That means your base will remain forever the same. Only you will change the bristle cap. So that's of course a very major development. Otherwise, every 2-3 months, imagine everybody throwing. Okay, so that is a good development. Maybe it has started abroad. I don't know. It has reached India. So people who are sensitive now, one more thing is you all must have noticed bamboo toothbrushes are being widely used. So that much sensitivity people have, at least we have come to that stage where, even if it's expensive, we don't mind, we want to use something eco-friendly. So I think we will slowly come to a lot of packaging developments in the coming future with so much noise going in on plastic, government taking a strong stand, and brands become very sensitive towards their name going bad in the public, in the public domain. So I think we will see a lot of changes now with the new rules coming just 2 weeks before. We are very positive that things are going to change for good now. It won't be same what it was 5 years back. So I have a question with from Durga Pawan. Yeah, Durga ji, like definitely, maybe I don't know about this nitrogen and all. So maybe chips can be packed in triple laminated pouch of PET or BOP aluminum. Yeah, can be. So that is why we are all gathered to learn more. As I said, I would be more than happy to learn from all of you so that I can share back to my UN system and we can disseminate the information, because we work with so many stakeholders and they look forward to us for some solution, and we are looking forward to you solutions, because we don't have everything ready-made available. We are also learning here. So as you said, I will note down this point, and when I compile my minutes at the end, I will share with the larger group. So they have learnings from the session also. Any other question, please, if anybody have a point of discussion? Sir, my previous organization, which I founded in 2006, does not work in packaging sector because it's very complex. It's highly domain specific. So my organization used to work on a different line. So in the current UN system, as you know, we are not into a specific area. We are looking to, as much as possible, streamline the sector of collection and processing. So we want to, so I'll, anyway, since we have come, I will share my screen once to take you through what exactly UNDP, this current project, is doing. And I want to open the floor with everybody. What are the possible areas where we can work with you? You can work with us. From Pradeep ji, how can plastic be replaced with bamboo? Pradeep ji, your question of replacing. Okay, I'll share the screen for your question. I'll share your presentation on that, on your question of replacing plastic for construction. I'll come to that. So first, I'll share my screen. Hope my screen is visible. Please, somebody confirm.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah. Thanks. So this is our, it's a brief presentation. It's an old one. It's not been updated. So I'll just run you through what exactly we are doing at the UNDP Plastic Waste Management Project. Okay, so they are our current partners who are our partners into the project with whom we have been doing. And so I'll hold the slide. It's self-explanatory. Please read through. So we have presence. We are trying to have a presence across the country. Until now, this is the collection we have done, and every year we try to increase our targets of collection and processing, and also integrating with waste pickers and self-help groups. And on the right side, you can see 42 partners. These are our field or city level NGO and non-NGO partners who implements the project on ground with our knowledge sharing. Okay, so this also I'll leave for reading rather than talking on this. These are the 4 pillars on which our project stands. So the reason it has been designed in such a way is, if you notice serial number 1, we want to go with the priority of the country, of the local municipality, local state, because waste management cannot be implemented. The same model cannot be implemented everywhere. So every city and corporation has its own plan. So we want to integrate our model with their plan. It's not, we don't want to work parallelly. That is one. Second, as I said, material recovery facility. As I mentioned, we set up into the municipal corporation's premises or outside. Third, so, waste picking community. As long as they are unhappy, we can never address the issue of waste in our country. Fourth is, the latest guidelines of the government says whatever is being collected, processed, or disposed should have an accountability. So that we are trying to make an accountable system, online or a digital accountable system, where any, with course of time in future, any citizens from their phone can figure out how much plastic has been collected and disposed in my area or across the country. So that is the fourth point. In knowledge management, there are a lot many things which I will share. So these are the 4 broad components. And this model has been arrived, and it's a daily changing model. It's not that we stick to it for life. No, because we learn daily, we keep changing and driving changes. So as per the suggestions, as per the ground learnings, we keep on, we try to change and fit it to the current requirements. So these are the actual we are looking at. So point number 5, as you can see, as we have been talking about, low value or multi-layer plastic, which are called, because nobody collects it. So our focus is that. And fourth thing is, at least the center we are operating should be able to collect 5 to 10% of city's plastic waste and process. Waste pickers' income, as I mentioned, they are not being paid correctly. So same what we discussed. So I will share the presentation as required, if required. Otherwise, this might be very difficult. It might look difficult to understand, but it is not so. So the center point is our facility, which we establish in a city or a corporation. We ensure the whole city is connected to us. On the left, you can see the bulk waste generators, like your shopping malls or restaurants who generate a lot of plastic waste. We ensure they send to us. Waste pickers are giving to us, kabadi walas are giving to us, municipal system is giving to us. Means a single point. Your religious places, temples, churches, mosques, educational institutions, you can see on the right. All the waste which is being generated today, educational institutions, I cannot generalize, but I am of the opinion might not have a track. How much is coming, how much is going. Accountability. So we connect everything through our center. There is a picture below the green circle or the Swachhta Kendra, that is little cut. So that picture shows after we are collecting or it's coming to our center, what are we doing with it? Anybody can say, okay, हमने आपको दे दिया, उसके बाद आप क्या करते हो? तो नीचे का figure depict करता है कि हम क्या करते हैं उससे. So maybe I'll explain that. Okay. So this is how our value chain, our operations look like. It's very simple. It's very simple because the diagram might be showing a lot of lines and figures. It's not that simple. It's very simple. Means I'll break it to very simple. On your left, maybe at least on my left, we have waste generators, including individuals to restaurants. On the center is a green circle called Swachhta Kendra. From here we get, from there on the right you have a recycler, it goes there. Only three levels: collection, collection, processing, disposal. That's all. We collect from everybody, we process at our center, we dispose to a recycler or wherever it has to be disposed. Only 3 levels are involved. Now, as I mentioned, our project gives a lot of emphasis to the waste pickers. So what are the issues they are facing? How are we intervening? You can see in this chart. So as a part of our infra model, we ensure we are creating a separate room for the people working there. There is a crutch provided for children. There's a crutch provided for the children because mothers work long hours there. And we see in every waste processing center, children are all running around that area. That is provided, washrooms, education, credits, everything is being ensured they are taken care, and we are working around it. We don't say we have achieved 100%, but we are working around that, all the issues. So now, how do we work? So first is on the top, we first partner with the state and central government because they are the most important stakeholders working in waste. So we partner with them. On the left, you can see the donors who wants to bring a change. They join hands with us. On the right, you can see the local body where we want to work. We partner with the local municipal corporation. We work with them. On the down, you can see the word called city implementation partner. We onboard a local partner who understands his or her city better than us. because they have to guide us. And through the local partners on the right, you can see we established the facility, recycling facility. And as I mentioned, what does the recycling facility do? On the extreme right, you can see aggregation, baling, connecting to recyclers, and social inclusion. So once the material reaches us, we ensure every kilo of plastic which has come to us is properly processed. And we give it traceability to the country. It is not that aa gaya, chala gaya, mujhe nahi pata kahan gaya. No, no. And no burning. Means low value hai to jala diya. No, we don't do that. We ensure our city implementation partners direct it as per the norms of the government. So these are the machines on the right you can see which are provided through our model, Your first step is that black color circle. You can, black color, which you can see a vehicle, which is the first step, that is the inflow. Then we have a series of machines. I'll share you a video also how a facility looks like. So this is one center. So you will never see that, this looks like a waste management, This is at the Ahmedabad picture. You can see how perfectly it is being designed. This is where, people who are tired of work, they can come here, sit and relax. This is how the centers looks like. Okay, so these are the people on your left. You can see the proper gear is provided, proper uniforms are provided, everything to ensure that their health is not compromised. Because we see, the toxic fumes are very dangerous. So all those precautions are taken. And on the right, you can see we have bins, segregated bins too. There are 7 types of plastics basically. And every type of plastic is separated, so that while sending it to recycler, it becomes very easy to send. On your left, you can see mixed plastic. On your right, you can see the same plastic when it's segregated. And this is what we try to share our learnings with educational institutions and corporates, that don't mix all your waste in one bin. Means if you have space, please create separate bins for PET bottle and low value plastics. And this is the most important thing for us, where every element is captured. Every element, So we have a very strong system to ensure we are following the norms of the government, and internally also every activity is monitored and data is collected, because it is the data which helps us to work around our models if we are going wrong. If we don't have a data, we don't know where we are going wrong. So there's a separate massive team which works around this. Okay, now this is the, so this is what I used to do before I joined UNDP. So this is the most important step. This is recycling. Means जो हम सारा collect करते हैं, उसका करते क्या हैं हम लोग. This is what we are pushing now today, and this we call it as a circular economy, where you are bringing your waste back to your own house again. So that is a complete circle, closing the loop. We close the loop like this. So there are so many products which can be made today with plastic waste. I will share this separately. Okay, I was we were talking about how we can include educational institutions. You can see D, ABC D, your serial number D and E. So educational institutions are extremely important for us. So we continuously take sessions. The entire 50-member team is always taking some session or the other for some school or college. So apart from that, behavioral campaigns are the most important for us, because without that, no amount of our effort will lead to any results. So yeah. So this is how, in a nutshell, though it has more than what I've shared, but this is, I'll stop the screen share here. I'll take some questions which I have missed. Mr. Anand Kumar, Mr. Kumar, bioplastics, I'm sorry, I might have to connect you to my another expert team member. So I'll skip the questions because I have expertise on bioplastics. Prabhisha, okay, about contributing to waste, is there any replacement? Sir, Prabhisha, so about replacing pens, rather than replacing pens overnight, it's not possible. It requires a lot of R&D, and pen is 5 rupees, 6 rupees. The moment you bring in a very major design change, the pen costing will go up. And especially post-COVID, when financially we all are very badly hit as a country. So major changes, already all the school students are feeling a pinch. So further, this might be very hard on them if even their basic stationery becomes expensive. But for my perception is definitely it can, maybe the experts working in pen industry can bring a change. So maybe as you suggest, it's a very good question. I will put it to my team to connect with pen manufacturers, whoever is the biggest pen manufacturer in the country, talk to them and understand what is the way out, where all we can bring a design change, or else make a ballpoint pen with such kind of a plastic which is very valuable and which can be collected. At least people will connect, the waste picking community can collect it. The last stage is, personally, I would see how can I recycle it. I mean, that's my domain basically. So I'll try to figure out if I have a pen waste, what do I do to recycle? Mr. Mahendra Prabhu, yes, sir. I used to make tiles, and my team, my co-founder, we massively build houses with plastic waste. So, see, bamboo, yes, in terms of look and feel, it's a perception. Something I might like, you might not like. Something you like, I might not like. So, look and feel is a very generic thing. We cannot standardize which looks better. And in terms of which is more eco-friendly, whether bamboo or plastic, personally, I would say, though my entire career I have given 18 years to bamboo and 5 years to plastic waste, I would still say in terms of solution, plastic, I would give few points more to plastic, because for every house which we build, every house of 250 square feet of house we build, we consume around 1,000 kgs of plastic waste, which is of low value. I'm not talking about high value plastic. I'm talking about low value plastics. So imagine if we all build 10,000 houses. So just imagine the amount of waste we will remove from our municipal dumping grounds. So example is Delhi's Ghazipur. The height is as close as to Qutub Minar. If we start removing all the waste, the height will come down, or else we see landslide happening at there at Ghazipur. Otherwise, burning, it is burnt at times. But if I don't cut bamboo from forest, it is okay. It is still okay. Means technically only the clump will die, but not cutting won't harm anything. But here, not removing plastics from the municipal dumping ground will lead to landslides, leachate, or burning. So that is a bad, but finally it is the customer's wish. The market is the king. If they say I want bamboo, what can I do? I'll say okay. If they say plastic, I say okay. But personally, now as a UN system, we are looking that people start using more and more of recycled plastic products. That will be the best thing we all can do, because overnight we cannot bring changes. So changes will happen, but from our level, where all we can find an alternate instead of using a virgin plastic, best is we try, if there is a recycled plastic material we can use. And we can also open a separate debate on the topic whether recycled plastic is good or virgin plastic is good. That's another complete area of debate. We always debate internally also. Especially in China, there is a new topic going on. Why should we recycle? Why cannot we simply burn everything and finish it off? You raise the temperature to 1000, 1200, 1500 degrees and completely burn it off, finish it off. Because they say your recycling process is more harmful because you are collecting in some corner, burning fuel to take it to the factory. Your factory is definitely releasing some fumes. Though it is PCB approved, they say, and you're using so much water. Why all this nonsense? Just burn it off in an incinerator or a cement plant or something and finish it off at one shot. Personally, it sounds good to me also. When we are debating, it really sounds good to me. But at the same time, if everything is burnt, how will we create livelihoods? What do we do of existing livelihoods? The value chain of recycling supports so many houses today. If everything is taken to burning, in a controlled burning with zero environmental laws also, how do we accommodate millions of livelihoods we have in this sector today? So technically, yes, sounds interesting to burn everything. Other side, we need to balance livelihoods also. So yeah, that would be my answer, Mr. Mahindra. Plastic waste without harming the ecosystem. Sir, again, I would say plastic waste is not an issue. Littering is an issue. So we are 100 people. What was the last time we segregated the waste in our house? Means we kept केले का छिलका अलग और बिस्किट का पैकेट अलग. कितने बार हम लोग ने किया होगा घरों में? लास्ट टाइम पिछले रात को किया था, उससे पिछले वी डोंट रिमेम्बर बिकॉज वी ourselves are so tired with our works. और कितने बार हम लोगों ने अपना वेट वेस्ट और ड्राई वेस्ट अपने कलेक्टर को अलग अलग दिया था, भाई ये सेपरेट रखो वो सेपरेट रखो करके. वो भी हम नहीं जानते हैं, हमें याद नहीं है. जिसने दिया है वेरी गुड, जिसने नहीं दिया है नो ब्लेम टू देम आल्सो. सो and how many people have made a conscious decision before purchasing stating no I shouldn't. और कितने लोगों ने सब्जी जाते वक्त सब्जी वालों को मना किया था, भाई तू बैग मत दे, मेरे पास बैग है, आई विल टेक माय ओन बैग, डोंट गिव मी बैग. सो देखिए प्रॉब्लम हमारे पास आके रुकता है. प्लास्टिक को ब्लेम करना, तो पर्सनली आई एम नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ blaming plastic. It's not because I work in plastic, no, it's a generic view. Recycle plastic house. Sir, I'll share you a presentation on recycle plastic house. You all can check the URLs which I've shared, even that has, but still is awareness results in minimization plastic waste. What is the person? Sir, Dr. Yuvraj, sir, we have not mapped. देखिए अभी मैंने सेशन किया है, इसके बाद मैं मैप नहीं कर पाऊंगा कि सेशन की वजह से कितना रिडक्शन हो चुका है सबके घरों में. So frankly speaking, वो मैपिंग किया नहीं है हमने भी कभी. It's a very good advice what you have given. Can a tool be developed where we can map that by awareness how much reduction has come? Maybe school में इसलिए हम लोग awareness campaign schools में करते हैं because teacher के लिए easy हो जाएगा कि we have a complete system how the mapping has to be done in schools. क्योंकि session के बाद what we tell all the students is every day or every week bring all the plastic waste from your home. Bring everything. So वहाँ पे बिन रखा जाता है स्कूल में, वो पूरा प्लास्टिक कवर होता है उसमें. तो हम बच्चों को बोलते हैं आप हर महीने खुद का मैप करो कि इस हफ्ते इतना आया तो अगले हफ्ते कितना आया, कम हुआ या ज्यादा हुआ तो क्यों हुआ. टेक अनदर सेशन. कम हुआ तो वेरी गुड, मीन्स वी आर गोइंग ऑन द राइट ट्रैक. सो वो स्कूल लेवल में और कॉर्पोरेट लेवल में कराते हैं, बट हर सेशन के बाद ऑनलाइन में हम नहीं करवा पाते हैं. Dr. Birendra, oh, we are more than happy, Dr. Birendra. We are always open to partners, where even if we are not working on design changes, we will connect you to people who are working on design changes. Because we per se don't have any right to talk to any corporate to change their designs. That's their internal thing. But you as a external third party can always join hands with them and work with them. We will be happy to connect you and we'll be happy to work with you directly and learn also, because we also need understanding on designing. Using more plastic waste but using more and more temporary measures. The question is from Pradeep ji. प्रदीप जी, अब प्रॉब्लम क्या है, क्या सही क्या गलत, बहुत ही बड़ा सब्जेक्ट हो जाएगा डिबेट का कि बैम्बू ही यूज करना चाहिए या प्लास्टिक रिसाइकिल नहीं करना चाहिए। तो सिंपल देखिए, अगर मैं सारा रिसाइकिल्ड प्लास्टिक का काम रोक दूं और सारा मैं अपना काम अपने बैम्बू कम्युनिटी को दे देता हूं, तो उन लोगों को क्या जो प्लास्टिक में काम कर रहे हैं, मीन्स उनके लाइवलीहुड्स का क्या, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग दिस कोविड टाइम और थर्ड वेव का कोई गारंटी नहीं आए ना आए। क्योंकि हम बार बार वेस्ट की बात कर रहे हैं, बट जो वेस्ट के साथ लाइवलीहुड्स जुड़े हुए हैं, व्हाट ओके, इफ यू हैव ए प्लान बी कि मैं अपने पूरे वेस्ट स्पीकर्स 40,000 वेस्ट स्पीकर्स को ओवरनाइट में कर दूंगा, वी कैन से ओके वी कैन बैन प्लास्टिक और वी शुड नॉट यूज प्लास्टिक एट ऑल, वी विल फाइंड एन ऑल्टरनेट। तो अभी क्या मीन्स, अगर हमने बंद कर दिए ये सारे, सो कंट्री नीड्स अ स्लो ट्रांसिशन, कंट्री नीड्स अ वेरी स्लो ट्रांसिशन। देखिए, सबसे पहले मैं कहूंगा ओके, मेरे घर में कोई भी सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक नहीं आएगा, तो मेरे को जो सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक सप्लाई करता है बोलेगा साहब क्या रातों रात आपने बंद कर दिया, कल से मैं जीऊंगा कैसे? मैं बोलूंगा भाई 1 साल ले ले, 1 साल तक यू गिव मी अ डिफरेंट पैकेजिंग, बट आफ्टर 1 ईयर आई वोंट टेक दिस। तो 1 साल में तू अपना लाइवलीहुड बदल। सो समथिंग ऑन दोज लाइंस वी कैन बैलेंस। सो या, दैट्स द ओनली थिंग आई फील वी कैन बैलेंस, and that is my perception. Maybe I'm wrong also in my statement, that's my view. So anybody else, any question? So I will share you a picture or a video of how a typical our facility looks like, what we call as Swachhta Kendra, what I have been talking about. So okay, I just reshare this please.
అది అది మీ బడ్జెట్ లో
Yeah, please. That was that's a basic facility outside the municipal compound. So this is in Hyderabad, where we decided the traffic is very high in the municipal dumping collection area. We collect there, but we process in a separate place. In some places we have separate, in some places it's included in the corporation's ground. So these are the basic machineries. You would have seen partitions where different types of plastics are segregated, collected, processed, baled, and sent for processing. So we keep changing, learning as per the daily learnings. We keep making modifications at the collection points, and that's how we try to add value to what we are doing. So, any other questions, please, before I go to the next presentation? Maybe I'll share you something about recycling. Now, last topic would be recycling. Till now, we have discussed some issues, some challenges. So in terms of challenges, yes, I would like to share one thing. What we have learned is, especially when we are working with corporations, what challenges we have seen is the team of the corporation is, they don't understand the 360 degrees, we can call it an aerial view. That at times is little difficult for us, because we are talking about finding a proper disposal mechanism. So, but they are also so hand tied with budget and work. That is at times challenge. And another challenge we face is bringing all the stakeholders onto the same page. So, example, we are around 102 people. 102 won't agree to the same thing ever again. So that is another challenge. And we look at long term, and somebody is looking for short term. We are talking about recycling. Somebody talks about incinerating. Somebody says about banning plastic. Somebody, we talk about livelihoods on plastics. So coming to a decision becomes very, very challenging. And what is right, what is wrong, nobody knows. And next is, nowadays we have very stringent norms from the government. So at least, especially the latest SOPs from CPCB are really strong. So even at times we find it difficult to implement those strong things. And one more problem we have seen is we don't get partners on ground. We find it very difficult to onboard strong partners, NGO partners. Not every city or every small place has a strong NGO partner. So that is another challenge, because startups are coming nowadays. And one more problem generally we see is making revenue in waste management takes time. Means any business takes time, and waste management takes more time. So these are the challenges on ground. And one more challenge we face is, we all know, bureaucrats keep changing. So that puts a little hurdle into the project. So that is one. So most important thing is getting a team which is very passionate, which who's domain specific, is also difficult. Getting a team to work on this kind of development activities at times are difficult. I've got a question with Mr. Pradeep. Latest machines available in connection. Sure, Mr. Pradeep. I will leave my email ID at the end of the session. So you'll have to put up a formal request to me, because I'll have to send it to the concerned team working on this. So that's a way of our working. I will ensure all the information reaches to you. I will leave my request. You can send me a request for this information. So these are the broad challenges. And another set of challenges when we are working on behavioral changes is, assumingly we go to an apartment and try to, our partners go to try, and we tell them segregate at the household level. So that is not implemented. That's obvious. We cannot expect overnight changes. So that is on that front. People don't listen. That is third. Third thing we face is when we are working with waste pickers. We tell them to wear, their apparel or their safety thing. They don't follow, because if they say we are more comfortable without gloves than with gloves. So it's normal. Somebody is working, everybody is not comfortable with safety gear. That is one set of challenge we face on ground. And we have middlemen. We talk to middlemen. We try to balance them to come into the system. They don't want to be coming into the system. Traceability, especially, nobody wants to get traced. So that's another challenge we face in we're working on. These are all ground realities. So when we come to the recycling part, I'll share the difficulties what we face in the recycling part of convincing somebody to make a change. You know, the toughest for anybody is to change, even on a personal level or a professional level. So change is the toughest thing we face. So yeah, so getting like-minded people, for example, we are 90 people. If I get all 90 on board to be a partner with me, nothing like it. So getting like-minded stakeholders and partners also at times we face a challenge. So these are the various challenges we face on a ground level, on a project level also. So and finding recyclers. So that is the biggest challenge. For example, I'm working in a small place in Gujarat. So I might not have a recycler at all there who's officially registered with Pollution Control Board. So even if I'm able to collect, where do I dispose? So that is another one. And when we go to smaller ULBs, the infra might not be there with the corporation. And so building up an infra is important, building up a team is important, building up a partners team is important, taking all the schools and colleges along with. So these are the dynamics. But yes, we understand we are on the right track. It will just take some time. So I'll just share any questions, please, before we go to the next presentation. Anything, if anything, please text or ask. I'll be happy to. Okay, so no questions in the chat box. So I will move to a presentation, which a lot of people have been asking about the recycling part. So the last step is what we call recycling, or I can say circular economy. So that is the last thing. Okay, this was what I used to do before I joined the UN system. My co-founder continues in this work. So these are self-explanatory. Please do the reading. I will pitch in where all I need to explain. So, okay, I'll come to specifics of this project. This is on a terrace in Hyderabad. It is 320 square feet, that is 20 feet by 16 feet. On the front side, which you see in the image, is 16 feet. On your side is 20 feet. So your frame is metal, but all other elements is with recycled plastic. So I'll come to the material specific. This whole house has been made using milk packets. Complete house has been made using milk packets, which we daily get into our homes. So you can see this, how it is processed. First step is plastic waste, which is collected by waste pickers. It is transported, segregated, and processed. Then we are ready with material to make a shelter. So how do we approach it? I will explain it. Okay, this is the base material. So this is how a house will look from inside. Your flooring, your walling, your ceiling, your roofing, everything is out of plastic waste. So this house is like any other house. You can, electrical. The only thing is electrical connections are visible on the top due to cost reduction plan, which has to be followed to reduce the cost of the house. It's a regular washroom. So this is a roofing sheet. So I'll try to share another project pictures also for a larger understanding. So it has passed all the government tests of emission, acid, fire, tensile, all the tests which are basically mandated by the government to ensure habitation is safe has been completed. These are 100% safe, just like any other house. There are zero emissions. At least definitely much safer than our hot car, which we park in the sun and then get into it. At least safer than that. So this house has been completely done with milk packets. I'll try to share you another presentation. I hope I have pictures. I'll share the pictures. Yeah, I do have the images. So that house was done using milk packets, and this house is done using chips packets. That is the low value or MLP what we have been talking about. So this whole house has been done with low value plastics. So on the walls, you can see Pan Parag packets, Britannia biscuit packets. You can see everything on the walls. So personally, this is our interest today. Means because nobody is addressing this challenge. Because milk packets, even if I'm not there, there is a way. People have a way to address that. Means they don't need my help or our help at all. But this is a challenge because collection is a challenge in this. Because nobody wants to collect a Pan Parag packet because it's very difficult to collect. And this is low cost also compared to that house. This is low in cost. There are some technical issues with that, which it's okay, I can share some other time. I'll share you another presentation and we can close. So I'll share you some other examples of circular economy or recycling basically. I'll share some products. So floors, I think you had a session on floors, tiles. So I had worked almost 2 years in the tile part. So there are a lot of great learnings out of this also. So since we have entire engineering colleges background in this and a lot of people want to get into entrepreneurship also using their skill of engineering. So it's an amazing platform where you can share with your students entrepreneurship opportunities, especially in the recycling sector. So this presentation will share on those lines more. So we had done massive tiling activity in Hyderabad with the corporation. So these are the dustbins where pigment has been added. Generally, you must have seen, this is raw. In this, pigment has been added for a color code. So this is a lumber made out of low value plastic. You get kind of a putty of different sizes, different dimensions, different thickness as per your mold. This house you have seen. So the same material can be used for building toilets and washrooms also. So nowadays we see our corporations using cement pots to put their planters on the roads. So this is one more option available. The same thing, the lumbers which are used for making furniture can go for fencing also. So this, we are trying to work on building a bus shelter completely out of plastic waste because this will be a live example to making a point to the public that plastic waste is not a waste, it's a resource. So if people don't know, they will always think it's a waste. But the moment they understand there are so many possibilities, it won't be termed as a waste anymore. It will, maybe we'll say plastic waste resource or plastic, whatever term we might use it. So this all we are trying to work out in the public. So this is one project we did around 2 years back. For me personally, of my entire career, this is my personal favorite. So because anyway, I'll not. I'll leave this. So as you can see, if we ban plastics, we won't have so many solutions. It will simply incinerating, and so many people make a livelihood out of this process. So as long as we see it as a resource, it will be easy for us. Okay, I have some questions. I will. So I have Durga Pawan cost per single house. Durga ji, जो website मैंने दिया है, उसमें cost भी है. You can please refer the website where you can find the costings also. It's available for download also. You can check the prices. I am again sending the link to everybody if somebody has missed. So I'll go to the second question. Do you know any case study in which plastic is used in concrete? Lalit ji. Lalit ji, like the way tiles are made using 100% plastic waste, tiles are also made using a mix of plastic waste and concrete. If you want links or contacts of people who are doing with this kind of technology, we can share with you. We can share. And to my knowledge, we are working with CUTIM University, CUTIM in Bhubaneswar. So they have a separate wing on making products with plastic waste, and their team is working with a mix of plastic and concrete for making tiles. And they're working with various permutation combinations also. If you want, we can connect you to CUTIM also to jointly work or have a knowledge sharing session what they are doing, so that you can take up. Prabhisha, yes, absolutely. See, the biggest problem, what we are talking about, the biggest problem of plastic is it does not die. Plastic as a material never dies up to 500, 600 years. So imagine if this kind of a material is used for building houses, it will never, nothing will happen ever. And plastic is waterproof by default, we all know. And it's a lightweight structure. You can make in hills also. If a building falls on somebody's head on in earthquake, it's a problem. But this is hardly 400, 500 kg, panels. The entire house is not more than 500, 600 kgs. So it's extremely, a lightweight construction is very fast. You can build a house in 5 to 6 days. That's the maximum speed. 5, 6 days, your house is ready. So that's why we no, Dr. S. Parvati, no, it is completely fireproof. So I will share one more link where you can please check that link where you can see the fire activity using this house or this material. You can see live videos there. So this is perfectly safe. Which is more durable, plastic or cement? Sir, plastic ही हुआ ना 5-6 साल तक तो खराब नहीं होता ना. That's the problem with plastic. Your house is as good as 100 years or more than that. So it's absolutely safe, more than cement to my my knowledge and experience. So this is the whole thing. My learnings have been towards this area, and we continue to learn regularly, obviously. So yes, please, because it's a very vast subject, I can go on and on. There's no end to this. So anybody has any specific, we'll direct the conversation towards that. Fair enough. If we are done with questions, then if we can wrap up, we can close. Or else, if there's any specific thing you want me to ask, tell or address, you can tell me. So, concluding, a few things I'll share in few bullet points. The latest guidelines of the government says any waste picker or anybody working in your collection of plastic waste in your area has to send the material only to registered recycler. And the entire documentation has to be provided to the government where she has sent the material. Sharang, process of making boards out of MLP. Okay, I'll tell you how the process works in short. First is obviously your collection. आपने एक वीडियो में देखा होगा where we call it shredding, where plastic waste is shredded into very small and fine particles. So that is the second stage called shredding. In between, obviously you clean it, you water clean it because wet waste हमेशा मिला रहता है उसमें. Then the next step is, I don't have a video in my laptop, I have in my phone, otherwise I would have shown you. उसके बाद there is a 8 feet by 4 feet plate, or you can say a die. The entire plastic waste is spread on that. In terms of thickness, whatever thickness you want, उस size का plate रहता है. Plate पे आप पूरा ये shredded plastic waste, you assemble it properly, you roll it properly with weight so that it's uniform. Then there is a press. There is a hydraulic press of, say, heavy press. It is pressed in that hot press and cold press. I would have shown you, it would have been much easy. Maybe I'm not good at explaining something. So it is pressed in heat and there's a cold press. That's all. You remove your board. Yes, sir. Frankly speaking, my own company used to do, they still do. My partners, my co-founder still does all these activity. So, but before buying, you should know the application for what you are buying and what thickness you want to buy. What thickness you want to buy. Otherwise, maybe you will be buying a thickness and paying price for which you don't need, or you will buying a thickness which won't serve your purpose. So we will connect you. You can please mail me. We'll connect you to everybody. So all the manufacturers who all are there in our UN network, we will connect. Waste cleaning machine, shredder machine, sir. You are 5 lakhs onwards. You can there are so many machines, but we will, since now you're directly, indirectly, we are all working together in the same sphere. We'll connect you to the vendors with whom we are working so that there is some assurance and reliability on machines. For that, please mail. I'll connect you to my UN colleague who's an expert in machinery. He'll be able to guide you the best. I might not be the right person to guide you on this. So machinery cost can start from 4 lakhs, 4.5 lakhs, and it goes. It goes, and then what you want to establish, what factory you want to establish, even there we will connect you. We have everybody in our UN system. We'll be happy to connect you with them. Okay, I was talking about SOPs. First thing is your local kabadiwala or recycler, whoever it is, whoever is in this activity has to give their waste to registered recycler under PCB. So that is most important thing. And there has to be an endorsement by the local corporation that XYZ has collected this much. Endorsement is also mandatory. Your commissioner, municipal commissioner has to endorse that this agency has collected this much. So these are very much important. So it's easily available. You can Google down, you will get the latest gazette. Or if you want, we can also send you for a reference. So, and single-use plastics are banned. What items have been banned under single-use, you can check there. And we have been talking about packaging. So that details have also been mentioned. Because everybody is supposed to move from their current packaging to a new packaging as per the prescriptions of the government. So we are on the right track. But that doesn't mean we can let our guard off or littering will stop. That will happen. So only our contribution and will only think that will make a difference. So yeah, so I'm done from my side. If there's anything, you can let me know. We can discuss, or else we can conclude the session if there's anything left. So yeah, no questions. So Dr. Irfan, over to you.
Thank you so much. I have some observations, something which I, during the conversation, was noting, and predominantly, this is an audience of academicians, and this is a way of communicating with the academicians. So we have a, as you know, our structure, our educational structure is such that our primary goal is to teach, and at the same time we do take some sort of research along with teaching. I think the best part will be to incorporate this sense in both of our activities. Like I personally have this habit that I may be teaching plastic processing to the students, but I take some time to teach them life skills too. I take some time in between to incorporate some videos which are related to habits, forming good habits. So that is my request to all the audience, that this is where the correct usage of all these sessions and the guidance of all these experts can be brought in. Now you understand what UNDP is doing. Let's do some brainstorming ourselves and utilize this platform, this knowledge, to pass it on to students so that they can get better out of it. Maybe our minds are not working so much. Younger generation is very curious, so their curiosity can be brought into it. This is the first request. Second is as you wisely said, we have a habit in India that we want to copy somebody. The first significant thing we look up around is that, oh, let's see his model, let me copy it. So that is a personal, it's my personal observation, talking to people who have been doing business in plastic waste, or talking to people who are actually working on a small scale. So that has been a problem for that has been one of the significant reasons for failure, because they didn't think. For example, we are sitting in Uttar Pradesh. So somebody was talking this in that I'll use bamboo fibers, I'll use banana fibers as filler here and create this. So my first obvious question was, why don't you look at agri waste? There is abundance of agricultural waste in Uttar Pradesh. Take that, use it locally. So as wisely advised by Prime Minister, it's vocal for local is very much important here. We can understand the technology, we can understand the bits of the whole recycling game. Then imagine it in our perspective, in our surroundings, and come up with a solution that suits the circumstances that we live in. We have different temperate zones, we have different social systems, we have different behavioral systems around India, various parts of India. And the best part is that if you are knowledgeable and you apply that knowledge locally, success is guaranteed. So I'm just adding it anyways. The one thing which we closely noticed while working with ULPs is that anyways they are like we worked in Varanasi also, we worked in Allahabad also, and anyways when we talked to municipal commissioner, I told them that you are anyways carrying that waste to dump yard, you're transporting it. Why should transportation be a limitation? Because you have to anyways carry that waste. Why not carry that waste rather than to the dump yard, carry it to the waste management system? So that is because most of the people think how we can carry the waste, but in any city, in any urban area, you see the waste is being transported. The only thing is that they don't transport it to a facility wherein at least 50% of it could be utilized. You see, even the wet waste is not being properly disposed. Yes. So at least wet waste can be segregated. That is easy. Segregated. And if you separate wet, and personally I'm speaking, if we separate wet and dry, half of this
problem is solved. Yes.
Problem is solved. Because yes, there are takers for that dry waste. There are takers who will take metal. People will take glass, people will take plastic also. But the only issue is that when even if we are not able to separate, we can at least try to eliminate a few components, that will also decrease the volume of the waste. And as you wisely said, that incineration or cutting of plastics or burning them out in regulated systems, that is an option. But being a plastic technologist, being a person who earns bread and butter out of it, it will hurt me a lot.
Yes.
Because it's an important resource. Why should we waste a resource? Ultimately, it comes from it's an outcome of fossil fuels.
True.
So why should we burn it? That is what pains us a lot. Why should we burn it in the first place? There are a lot of things which you can burn. Why should we burn plastic? In fact, multi-layer plastics is a problem, is an issue so far, because technologies are not available right now for easy disposal or for easy recycling of the same. But that's a challenge we have, and the advanced world now will come up with some or other technology which will bring it to a conclusive use. That is the only thing which we feel as plastic technologists. And my only intention of bringing people from various domains of knowledge into this FDP is that to open up different windows in our minds. See, we are mainly confined to bookish knowledge. We are mainly confined to academics. We are mainly confined to listening to people who ultimately have read, not experienced. And the outcome of this session or any session in this FTP has to be, let's involve ourselves in thinking what can be evolved by using our bookish knowledge into a practical world and come up with simple solutions. All these change makers, you yourself are the best example for looking for a simple change. Don't go to a broader perspective. If I can manage my waste at my home, that will be more than enough. We did an awareness program in Banaras once. It was way back, some 6-7 years back. More than that, 8-9 years back. Then we did another awareness program after 3-4 years. So one lady from the audience got up and said, "Sir, I have to say something." I said, "Please move ahead." She said that the last time you talked about managing these plastic carry bags, what we did in our society is that all the ladies are collecting these carry bags and giving it to local shopkeepers for free. At least they are reused in our society itself. That way, we are reducing a lot of bags going into the municipal solid waste. You see, the intention here is very simple. You don't have to be a big change maker. But when we calculated the impact of that, the whole society is at least preventing 5,000 to 6,000 carry bags every month from going into the waste. You can imagine this. They don't have any technology, but their approach was to save. And we just salute the spirit of these women who are doing it. Or milk pouch, they also had done something with the milk pouch, and they were selling it to these kabadi walas. And she said, even if he pays 1 rupee, 2 rupee, that is a bonus to us.
It's huge.
We won't tell it. But if he takes it away, we are happy. So things like this, these have to be incorporated, and I am extremely grateful to you, sir, that you spared your valuable time at such a short notice. And I assure you that next time I have to bring you to any platform, I'll give you some time.
Sure.
Inform you in advance. And personally, on my personal behalf and on behalf of the organizers, whole organization, I thank you, sir, for bringing about such a beautiful experience-filled, knowledge-filled session over here, which more inspires. And I'm sure people in this audience would have loved it. We are all at the same platform when it comes to facing the problem arising out of plastic waste. waste. Nobody is secure. Nobody is secure because this is a global problem. And all of us have to come together to do something, and all of us have to stop blaming government, policies, or the producers of plastic. There is no way out.
Yes.
You are embedded in a society wherein plastic is everywhere. So I am extremely thankful to you, sir, for being here today and for
Thank you very much.
giving such an enlightened vision to all of our audience. And we definitely will be in touch with you on any platform. And I'll be personally in touch with you because we have a lot to do, especially as far as this thought and awareness has to be carried forward. Thank you very much. And
thank you very much.
Continue doing this great.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So, anything we at the UN system can be helpful to anybody, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to partner, and only collectively we can address this issue of waste. Independently, when we cannot address this.
Yes.
So look forward to work with all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.